So here's my thoughts on bugging out, travel, and perception. And what I realized with what you carry as far as a backpack goes. Backpack I usually carry when I travel is a Kelty Red Wing 44. It is kind of an OD green in color with green. And something that's happened here in the past is it actually gets flagged in the airport numerous times. So if that gets flagged in the airport, imagine if you're walking in like a refugee caravan. So I thought that was something to take into consideration. When I was on my way back to Israel, they pulled us aside and asked if something was in the bag that was already checked in, because they didn't have any more room for the carry-on. So they made me check it in, and then they flagged it for suspicion. So the theory is it kind of looks military a little bit. So that's something I wanted to bring to people's mind. The problem is, and the reason why I usually carry like that, is I was in a situation on the border of Costa Rica and Nicaragua back in 2015 when I was traveling all of Central and South America for my second time. And this time was backpacking, and I was on a moped, style travel. And at the time I was taking what they call a chicken bus. And basically there was a lot of Cubans that would fly from Cuba and go to Ecuador, and from Ecuador they would backpack and travel up through Central America. This is before what we have going on now. And a lot of them had backpacks, but they were poor quality. Some of them were bright colors. And when this mob of thousands of people were getting into engagements with the Nicaraguan and Costa Rican, border guards, and tear gas was flying, I'm stuck in the middle of this thing, and I don't want to have a backpack that's super, super bright and that stood out like so many people had. And they were also breaking. So imagine you're like, the strap where it goes by your shoulder snaps like so many did, because it's poor quality equipment. That snaps, and you're like lugging this thing around in the worst of ways. That's exactly what happened with these people. So with that being said, that's why I kind of started changing my gear up a little bit. And I had kind of like more of a black backpack before, I think with a little bit of green or brown on it. But I kind of like the neutral colors, because I said to myself as I'm on this bus, and I'm like, if something happens and I got to go hide out in this jungle-ish terrain that was surrounded off of the highway, I don't want to have some bright colored backpack poking, making me stand out. I try and, I wear black and blue, like kind of like darker blue and stuff like that, pants, and or when I'm traveling outside of, the more developed areas, I tend to go more neutral colors in case that situation, cargo pants, things like this. But when I'm in a situation like this, like I am in Barcelona, I figure, dress like a normal human being, of course. But if I'm doing anything that has to do with outdoors and stuff, the proper stuff is put on. Proper boots, all that stuff. So that's kind of what I think a lot of the preparedness crowd, because many of them are so, really realistically, it seems like 80-90% of them are American focused, and they've never really seemed to travel outside and or have the worldly experience. It's very American centric, and all you have to do is look at these caravans. It wasn't too long ago my ancestors were in caravans like that. All I have to do is do a quick Google search, and you'll see all these caravans of people. You can get a very good idea on what you're going to be up against. And I'll carry some extra gold and silver with me when I travel, because of these types of situations, as I saw when I was in Ethiopia. Something like a half ounce of silver, I want to say as a bribe, but if you're around anybody of importance, it's a great gift, and it eases tones and tensions when people see that stuff. And that's the truth of the matter, is you have to de-escalate a lot of situations. And any of these times when you're traveling, let's say in some kind of SHTF situation, you have to think to yourself, there's no way you could just walk around with a rifle. Everyone says, America has the gun laws. Yes, it's very true. But you make yourself such a target, even with something like a pistol. Because sooner or later, there's going to be a checkpoint, and when they shake you down, and you try and hide it or whatever, or they see you run off into the woods to try and hide something, and you circle back, it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. I promise you. Because they've got, especially today with cameras, drones, and all that stuff, you see what's going on in the Ukraine. These are all things I would say to keep in mind. But yeah, until then, I'll sit here and enjoy this view. And we just got back from France. I went to Marseille. I'll be posting videos about that. And the security situation is much, much worse over there. Much, much worse. Here in Barcelona and in Spain, it's I feel like it's a lot cleaner for sure, and safer, and amongst many other things. But it was a very good time. This isn't my first time here, but it's always a nice trip here. Signing out for now. Tomer with Cashier Preparedness. Later.